last week.
That was fun.
I'll actually be watching this week too. So, we should be on. Pop this on and off. Yeah, we're going.
Okay, do you want to open it up so we can see questions?
We sure can. So, we're on even though it's not showing.
Right. Did you just do something?
I was just going to click on something. She takes over the mouse. Let's see.
We have two mouses, guys. That's why it seems like we're always fighting over it, is because one of us thinks that we have the mouse and then it turns out the other person was using it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just when you're going to close down a very important item. Oh, we also need to mute our computer. There we go. Let's see.
So
Oh, this will be fun. Okay, I'm just reading the notes now. Sorry,
yeah,
guys.
Go ahead and read the notes. I'm going to talk for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
So, we are not trying to steal any of Danny and Wanda's thunder. We are just trying to make sure that our stream is working. So
far we're in the green, so that's good.
We're just playing with
Hi,
it.
Ava. Looks like Ava Kinsey's already here. Glad you could join us. Hope we didn't just pirate you over from Danny and Wanda.
It just takes everybody a while to get everything put together, so it just takes us a little bit.
So that's what we're doing. We're kind of putting everything together. Finishing show notes. Cracking a last beverage. So.
Can we turn the bottom of your chair so that it's not rubbing against mine? If you can just lift your bum so I can turn it.
Okay.
I just need to turn the bottom.
Yes.
There we go.
This should make for exciting viewing television.
I didn't need you to scoot closer this way. I just needed the bottom turned. I'm not going to screen.
So what would you like to do?
If you just scoot.
Sure.
Thank you.
That's all I needed you to tell me to do.
Okay.
We're up to 10 up. So guys, we're still about 5 minutes away from going live.
We were just checking everything. So if you wanted to go watch the rest of Danny and Wanda over at Deep South Homestead, feel free to go do that. We're just making sure that everything is running correctly.
Yeah. In the meantime, good morning, Melanie, or good evening, Melanie and Joel, and Setor Satva. Where are you from, sir? Or where would that handle come from? I'm actually curious. It sounds Eastern Bloc. So can everybody hear us? By the way, how are we all sounding? How are we looking? I've had enough of the growing pains doing this. I'm sure that something else. There's got to be a little bit of a switch somewhere that I haven't thrown yet. I've been live. Yes, we are. We are looking. We started up a couple minutes early just to make sure that our stream would be stable. So thank you, Seattle Tony. But we figured we'll just keep running with our stream. Even we've only got 3 minutes left till we'd be live anyway. So.
Okay, so if Jeff Barr comes on today, if anybody sees that Jeff Barr pops up, this is his hat I'm going to be working on today while we're waiting. Looks and sounds good. Good deal.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate the feedback. Let us know if it changes or goes wrong. Or if we get trolls popping up, I'll try and get a couple of you. If anybody wants to volunteer and be a moderator, sounds like Brad and Krista are gone today, so volume is a bit low. Okay, thanks. Homestead and homesteading. Let me turn it up a bit more.
We might need to just come closer and
okay, guys.
Speak up a bit too. We're both a little bit mellow tonight, feeling a little bit mellow.
Tired, I think is the correct term. It's been a fun day, and hopefully we get to tell you all about it pretty quick. So, in fact, we're 2 minutes from. Should we just start now?
Yeah, we can just start now.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Hi, everybody.
This is Dirtpatcheaven and Mr. Dirt.
Hi.
And Most of you probably just came over from Danny and Wanda. They took the slot for Brad and Krista. And Danny and Wanda are Deep South Homestead. So if you don't know about them, please go check them out. And Brad and Krista are Big Family Homestead. And tonight, Danny and Wanda were talking. The part that we caught just before we went live was that they were talking about how to plant a tree correctly. And they are a fount of wisdom. They're amazing. And so make sure to go check them out. They are like the traditional homesteader that didn't leave the land. They never left it, and they just have a huge amount of information. So go check them out. Okay, so if there's a question, you just let me know, because I'm not going to read them. Okay.
Well, Minuteman Homestead says, sorry I'm late. No, you're right on time. We're just barely getting over and starting. We did start about 30 seconds early, so... Anyway.
And if anybody sees Jeff Barr, holler at us, because I do want to show him the hat. Okay, so first off, I wanted to talk. I always feel this way, and maybe I talk about books too much, but I really feel like taking the wisdom of great men and studying them and trying to find ways to implement their teachings into your life. That's invaluable. It opens up different parts of your brain and different ideas that you never imagined unless somebody shows it to you. And the one that I'm reading right now is called Seneca on the Shortness of Life. And it has some other writings in here too. Consolation to Helvia and On Tranquility of Mind. And the person that I found this book from was... What was his name? It's Ty something. I'll think of it. What?
Bollinger?
No. It's Ty. I'll think of his last name. But he was a woofer for for Joel Salatin. So the guy that turned me on to this book was a woofer, an apprentice for Joel Salatin. And now he is a really big businessman. He's good at teaching people how to make money online. He's good at teaching people how to be entrepreneurs. And what he does is he reads a book a day. That is his big claim to financial success, is that he reads a book a day. And he spreads it all over the place and just collects information from all sorts of different places. And so I was going to talk about some of the people that I really enjoy reading from. So Seneca, this would be more of a classic. Seneca is from, let's see, he is...
Wait, somebody just told me something. So yes, this text is backwards. Let me go and set that real quick for a second.
Well, it doesn't matter. I can just read it to him. It's kind of messing up our...
It's your groove.
Seneca. It's Seneca.
Seneca.
Seneca, Seneca, on the Shortness of Life. And he lived 5 BC to 65 AD, so this would be considered a classic. So other books and men that I like to learn from would be Paul Wheaton. He's at Permies.com, Permies, Permies.com, and he talks about permaculture. Joel Salatin, of course, he's all about using the animalness of the animal to decide how to feed them and where to keep them and how to take care of them. Who else? And then Proverbs. I love Proverbs in the Bible because it's these little nutshells of wisdom that are time-tested and mother-approved, I guess. So with how busy our life is, I don't read most of the week. I don't do any reading because most of my work involves videos or taking care of kids. I don't have time for it. But I consider Sunday a day of rest, and so on Sundays, unless it's a day like today, where I didn't get any reading done.
It's been a day.
It's been a day. On Sundays, I spend the whole day reading, and that's how I do my research. And I try really hard not to have them be fiction. I try really hard to make it be something that is going to be really deep reading. So, did you want to tell about our new woofer? We're on number 2.
Yeah, well, thank you. Number 2, that's 2. Okay. Let's see. So, his name is Daniel. He's here for another 5 days.
He's here till the 27th.
27th.
So we've got a bit. Yeah.
Wow, we got another week. Good. Let's see. I don't know. Great guy from Ireland, actually. And
I just saw a good book that I've got to write down. Okay. Hold on a second. Wait, where did it go? Dang it. Okay, Grizz, hold still.
Yes, Sharon.
Flooding Gardens.
Sharon, you just nailed it. I'm sitting in the background laughing at the comments while poor
Flooding Gardens by I.P. Freely.
Honey.
What?
It's a joke.
Is it a joke?
Yes,
I don't know what it is.
It's a joke.
How is it?
Like Under the Bleachers by Seymour Butts.
I don't know that.
They're good books, but they're jokes.
Are they jokes?
Yes.
Darn it, I always want a new book.
So, Grizz, you totally just... you just got my wife. That's funny.
If it says the word gardens in it, and I'm like, oh, gardens.
Okay, that was funny. It's going to take a minute. Flooding Gardens?
I don't get it.
I.P. Freely? Okay. So, I look like Colonel Sanders tonight. Wow. Is that that must be the goatee thing. Thanks, Grandpa's Farm. I actually appreciate that one. I'm letting the overgrowth kind of the shrubs are not trimmed.
Back to the woofer. Do you want to explain to them what a woofer is?
So WWOOFer stands for the Worldwide Organization of Organic Farmers, right?
I think it's
.net.
Worldwide Opportunities.
Of organic farmers.
It's kind of...
Okay.
Yeah,
so
but it's close.
WWOOFer.net. And basically, woofers are apprentices for people who need help farming. And
it's also kind of a big deal in... it's called ecotourism. I don't know if that makes sense, but people go all over the world to find out...
Go ahead. You're doing great. Nothing.
I'm
watching
with my
groove. No, I'm watching the comments, and they're just hilarious.
Okay, so woofers go, and it's considered part of ecotourism, where if you're not even interested in farming, but you want to go and see what it's like to be on a farm, you get to go work on a farm. And so Daniel is our second woofer. We should have had 3 by now, but we had one that flaked out. And a lot of times it's hard because they do flake out, or people can be flaky. And so sometimes you overbook, and that's what we did this time around, is that we have 2 people, a couple coming on the 22nd, and we still have Daniel here, and he's done pretty much everything that needed to be done, and now he's digging ditches, and I feel really bad about the fact that we just have him digging literally digging ditches,
and it's like,
but he's only working about 5 hours a day. That's what is considered. Well,
no, it's good. It's good. I agree. I think he always wants to work more, which is actually kind of frustrating for us because we're like, no, trust me, take a breath. 6
hours is standard for a woofer to work, and we work for 4 to 5 hours.
Oh, looks like Danny and Wanda are here. Hey guys, great show tonight.
Yeah, so, I need to go back and watch the whole thing. We were kind of frantic running around trying to get goats milked.
So you cover for Brad, who also had an excellent show tonight. If you guys didn't see Brad's, it was very entertaining.
The one about the how to use your camera equipment?
No, just the flat, like, hey, we're not here. And it was, I could keep up with the plot, so it was a good show. So I need tourists for my homestead.
I bet it is big in New Zealand.
Whoa, who are you talking to about?
USA Kiwi
522. 5222. Woofer is huge in New Zealand. Yeah, it's a worldwide... I was talking to Kate, our first woofer, and she says it's a worldwide thing, and it's huge.
Yeah, Daniel is from Ireland, and he was here just to tour the States, and this is a way for young people to be able to tour without having to pay for hotels. Instead, they work a few hours a day on a farm, and they are free to go. Like Kate, she went up to Yellowstone and went for hikes when she wasn't working and that kind of thing. On weekends when we weren't working, she would just go see what there is to see around
Grand
us.
Teton, yeah, she went hiking in Grand Teton. Pretty land up there. So
thanks, Homestead and Homesteading.
Always
worldwide opportunities on organic farms. Thank you.
I always wanted to dig a ditch again. When can I start? Hey, come on over.
Right.
We've got lots.
Well, and they're not really what
we might be out of ditches.
What we're having him do is he's digging a narrow trench, so it's about that wide and about that deep. And what we're going to do is we're going to take all of our seeds and our pits that are from our Nanking cherries and our plums and our crab apples, and we're going to dump them all in these trenches. And then we're going to water them in the summer when we do our irrigation, which means that the strongest and the best seeds will germinate and they'll sprout, and we will have wild fruit bushes, fruit trees that will give shade to the goats and will give us food because we eat Nanking cherries and we eat wild plums. And
the Nanking cherries have grown like gangbusters.
They're
the
well
only
here.
thing that have done so good in our desert.
And Siberian pea shrubs. So we have Siberian pea shrubs, 2 really big mature ones, and they're covered in pods this year. And I'm watching them really careful so that when they shatter, I can catch the seeds and put them in the trenches too. And so we're having to reconfigure the lines that the goats are grazing on so that they can't get to these trenches. So we're going to have to shorten some ropes and lengthen some ropes because we're putting these trenches all the way down the pasture so that in coming years, as these trees grow quickly, they will quickly start to have real shade instead of just the little shelters that they have right now.
So you guys do that.
Yeah, Danny and Wanda did an amazing job.
Yeah.
I need to go back and watch the whole show. Okay, so moving on.
Oh, wait. Kacheri Soap says what kind of cherries? They're called Nanking cherries. It's a desert shrub that actually grows a little red fruit, just tiny berry, and about 2/3 of it is actually seed and pit in the middle, but the fruit is still really good. And it's the only... In fact, what was it? I was looking it up on Wikipedia or something, and it was talking about how you almost never need to water this. It could grow in just the driest sand, that would never...
And it does well in alkaline soil, which is what we have.
Yeah, and it's just... So it was they were here, the first couple bushes were here and fruiting the first year that we got here. They were the only things that survived.
The deer had eaten them down. The voles had eaten all the bark off of them. They hadn't been watered in 15 years, and they were still alive and put on a whole bunch of fruit the first year we were here. So we went out and planted a whole bunch more. Mm-hmm. And to compare that, like the Siberian pea shrubs do okay. It takes them a long time to get started. Black locusts do not do well in our area. They're supposed to be really good. Autumn olive really, really struggled to get started. I had to water it a ton, and finally they're making it, but they're not spreading it all. They're supposed to spread, but they don't spread in our property. Mm-hmm. And then hedge cottoneaster is also supposed to be a very aggressive, nasty plant, and it kind of survives in our area. But the Nanking cherry survives.
Okay. So JM at the Nut House asked what we do with the cherries. Basically,
we
the
feed
girls...
children.
Yeah. The girls just sit there and just pick on them all day, and it keeps them entertained all summer long.
And it keeps the grocery bills down.
Yes, it does.
Which counts for something. Hey, Wendy. Let's see. Okay.
Let's see. So sorry. Yankee 4, ask that question again in a few minutes. We'll get back to that.
So what we have found works really well for us so far has been wild crafting. Any kind of bush that is wild and does well in bad conditions in nature, we plant them and we nurture them for a few years, and then hopefully they take off and do well. We do have some really great grafted fruit trees like pear trees and apple trees that are doing well. Mm-hmm. But they've taken a lot of babying and they're very expensive. Mm. Rugosa rose, we planted 300 of those our first year here, and I have 2 that survived. 2,
yeah. Let's see. So, wait, you were talking about wild crafting in bushes. Does that make that bush crafting?
No.
Okay. No.
Bush crafting is skill related. Wild crafting is harvesting.
Oh, okay.
You need both.
You need both. Harvesting skills. Okay.
And so that's why we have the trenches that our WWOOFers digging, is so that we can take all of the fruit pits that the girls are eating. I'm having them save all the pits, and we're gonna go stick everything that's hardy and nasty and thorny in these trenches and see if we can get them to take off. Okay, so one difficult thing about woofing, not for Daniel, but for me, is that when you have a WWOOFer, they come and they're helping, and you still have all your normal chores, and you're giving them special chores that are things you couldn't get done very well by yourself. And so you have your woofer do it, and I still have a lot of work to do in the house. I have kids, I have dishes to do. I'm feeding him, so I need to be able to go in and cook meals. And so a lot of times he'll be out there digging trenches, and I'll be coming in the house where it's nice and cool, and I'll be working on something else. Yeah. And that makes you feel really guilty.
Yeah, that's kind of rough.
It's really rough.
Rough watching him out there digging a ditch. Yeah. Well, it's cool in here.
Well, he does that early in the morning. Right. He's getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to dig the ditches before it starts to get hot. And I'm stumbling out. Usually I'm up at 5 or 6, but lately I haven't been. I've been getting up at like 6:30, and so I'm telling him how I'm an early riser. But we've had some really rough nights lately with geese alerting about things, or we had a little girl that tried to climb in bed with us and woke us up, or John was up sick. And now we've got the baby goats that were just born, and so I'm not getting up.
You just blew your surprise. So did you want to say surprise?
No.
Baby goats.
Failed twice with my corn this year. Tried to plant early, strange weather.
Corn right now, so planting. So yeah, skip down to number 5. Four. Sorry. So Chamomile had her babies today, and she had triplets. Go ahead.
You're the one that made me skip. I was going to go through Hyper Kids first.
No, yeah, but you were talking about kids. Okay.
So I'm going to go back to what I was talking about.
Okay, we'll get back.
So with the woofers, when we have the woofers come, the kids want to go in and interact with them. And not only does it interrupt the woofers from the work that they're doing that's paying for the room and board that they are getting from you, but also they're strangers, which means that you have somebody coming on your property that you don't know from Adam, and you have children that want to go interact with them. And that's not a necessarily very safe situation. And so since we've started having woofers, I've been having a really hard time with hyper kids, that it's been really hard to keep them focused on their chores. And I spend more time telling the kids to go in the house or telling them to do a new chore to keep them away from the woofers. And so I feel like I'm running around in circles, trying to help keep the woofers supplied with what they need, and trying to keep the kids away from the woofers, then trying to get in the house and trying to get meals put on. And so it's not all sunshine and roses, just because there is a little bit of stress in trying to keep everybody busy, everybody happy, and everybody separated from each other.
So read to me, basically the short answer for yes. Yes, we are always on alert for.
Well, and not necessarily the entertaining so much as I have a list of things for them to do, but most of it I have to teach it to them before I can point and say, there you go. Get started. So I have to spend the time training them, and in that time I have a very short window before I have to go in and start the next meal. And with Kate, there was a little bit more of entertaining, just because I felt a little safer about the girls being out with her, and the girls would go, but I would feel bad because the girls would kidnap her. At one point I went out to find her trying to weed the spinach with a little girl sitting on her back as a horse. Right. Like, giddy up, Kate. And so it was, I know they were gracious. She was gracious about it, but it was one of those things where it's not kind to ask somebody to always be eternally patient with your children. Right.
So Donna, yes, I believe they are vetted. They do vet them through the program, through the woofing program, but it's a parent's. Basically, it's our nerves.
You can't be a felon, and you can't be a convicted sex offender, but that's the only vetting that they do. And so if they haven't been convicted, they could still be a sex offender. They just couldn't have been ever caught yet.
We have been lucky. We haven't had any issues.
Well, but I've been vigilant. Right. I've been so vigilant. Like, girls, get back in the house. Try to finish your chores. And so I can't watch the girls and make them finish their chores while I'm trying to teach Daniel what it is we're doing next. And so it has been a little bit of an emotional thing. And so along those lines,
yes,
more chores, starting school.
School will be fun this year. So
we already have all the school supplies for the next year, and so during the times that I'm in the house and I need to have the girls with me, there's not enough chores to keep them busy. And so I'm thinking we need to get started back on school again, just to have something else for them to do. And I'm so tempted to put them in public school this year. I just can't tell you how tempted I am. They're getting old enough that they really want more social interaction, and I don't ever leave the farm. I have too much work to do.
Yep.
No thoughts on that?
No, there's lots of thoughts on that. It's just, what can we do? You know, it's whatever we got to do, we just got to do. So,
we're still seriously toying with the idea of doing the RV thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we are really, truly back and forth on it because it's just... Thank you, Off-Grid Nation. I'm with you. Tommy, no public school. Here. Just every time that's what we should do, is we should just go visit the public school once they get back in session, because...
It always turns me off to it. I always go in and I check, and I'm getting ready to sign them up and put them in. I've done it twice now, where I'm like, okay, this is the year, I'm just putting them back. Hey, Aardvark! Well, and we did try it for a year. Paige went to kindergarten. She went to a charter school, and there was pornography on the buses on a kid's phone on the way back from school, and she had a teacher that was on some kind of drug that made her really out of it.
At the least, she was just swallowing too much NyQuil and then going to school.
Yeah, it could have been. And they wouldn't let me look at the curriculum. I went into the charter school, and I requested to look at their curriculum. And they wouldn't let me see it. They said, we have a parent-ready curriculum that you can look at, but it's not ready yet.
The one that's edited for the parents. Yeah. Oh, I see.
And then when I went to put her into first grade, so a year later I went to put her into first grade here in our local public school system because I wanted her closer, not such a commute. I went in and observed, and what I saw was a big screen in front of the room with the teacher wandering around in a corner, just kind of staring into space. The kids were all talking to each other at tables. They weren't actually watching the screen. It was supposed to be teaching them how to learn how to read. And all the kids had suckers in their mouths and were talking to each other. None of them were looking at the screen. And then I walked past the library and I looked in, and there were all these kids sitting in the library at tables with their heads down. Obviously a big group of kids. They weren't reading books. And I looked at it, I was just like, erg.
Yep, exactly. And H&H, I'm here with you if I would have been homeschooled.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if my mom would have had the patience to homeschool. That was kind of
Hey, Sharon, how are ya? That's kind of exciting.
So, speaking of, I'm going to go make sure that the children are still doing their
tasks.
They
are. I hear babies crying. Okay, so what else? So Chamomile had her babies. We went out this morning. I made a video of when we bred her, but I wasn't sure if I'd actually put it up around the time that we bred her or if I waited a week and put it up then. So I knew right about kind of the time she was due. And Chamomile is tricky. She can look like she's in labor for a week and not go into labor. And then I've always pulled her babies. She struggles. She has a tendency to get the first baby stuck. And multiple babies trying to be born at the same time. And so I've always pulled her babies before, gently and kindly, and we've never lost a baby from her. Well, we've always had bucklings before, triplet bucklings, and we really wanted a doe. And I sent Kaya out this morning because I thought I heard a goat in distress, and she went out and checked, and one baby was on the ground. The next two were about to be born. And the one that died was the girl. So. It's put me a little bit off my rocker. I always get emotional when there's a death. If I'm there, I never lose a baby. If I'm there from the beginning of labor till the end of labor, I never lose a baby. I've been doing this since I was 12, helping deliver babies, and it makes me crazy when I don't get there because I know I could have saved them. But we have 2 bucks. We'll be keeping one. Chamomile is fine. We pulled the bucks from her instead of having them stay on the mama goat. Instead, we're bottle feeding them because she has very thin-skinned teats, and having babies nurse on her actually makes the sides of her teats leak milk. We've tried it 2 years before, having the babies on her, and it just never works. It just tears her up. So
we're gonna bottle feed them, and they'll be really good pets if they need to be. And
well, one of them is going to be a buckling, and we'll probably snip the other one just as a companion for his brother, and then come fall we'll probably eat the companion.
We could have said that more gently, but yeah, he could be in the freezer.
Okay. Okay, so another thing is when we first started on our YouTube journey, this is just advice for those of you who are trying to make it as YouTubers. It's so easy to get burnt out once you get past the things that you're passionate about. Once you've made the videos that you think were really important and you still had the energy to make them, that's kind of been the problem, is that when we first started homesteading, it's all I was doing. You know, I was a mom, I was a homesteader, I was a wife, and it was enough, and I had energy, and John was still working full-time. And it was about the passion that I had for the homesteading. Well, when I added in the YouTubing on top of that, it became a full nother job. And now the YouTube is more of my job than the homesteading is. So a lot of the cool things that I used to do, like the preserving of the eggs and having lots of chickens and always having lots of eggs, it's kind of morphed into the easiest animals, the fewest animals that we can do. And it's been a long time since I made butter, and it's been a long time since I made cheese. I'm just too tired. Is that pretty accurate? Is that
that's exactly dead on. We're just and you know, I haven't even been really involved in the YouTube, just trying to get the ancillary parts of it together. It's just mentally training, actually.
Well,
anyway.
And when we started out, I was doing not only daily videos, but multiple videos during the day. I was so excited about what I was showing people that I was putting up like 7 videos a day. It was like, whoa. And then after a while, I went down to 2 videos a day, and that was really nerve-wracking. And at 2 videos a day, we got better views. And then I went to 1 video a day, which wasn't very long ago. It was actually only like 4 or 5 months ago that I went to 1 video a day. Was it even that? Was it 3 months?
No, it was probably 4 or 5.
Was it? So I started more heavily editing. I started doing a lot of editing on my videos. I had a better camera, and I was spending 4 to 12 hours editing each video. So I cut back to 1 a day. But then what started happening was that I realized that with this additional editing, I was getting really burnt out on YouTube too.
For sure.
And so now what it has come down to is I really feel like I have all my information out there. I have how to milk a goat, how to train a goat to stand to be milked, how to butcher chickens, how to butcher rabbits. I've made all those videos, and I feel like I'm wasting my audience's time to remake those videos. I feel like you guys have better things to do than sit here and watch me do the same thing you've seen me do before. And so why, you have precious time. You have kids to take care of. You have dinner to make. Why would I take up your time with something that's repetitive? And I'm having a really hard time getting over that, because I know there's a lot of new viewers that might like to see that kind of thing.
90% of our audience is within the last 2 years, 18 months.
But I still feel like it's busy work, like it's busy chatter. And so what's your guys' take on that? Would you prefer that I remade the videos and made them higher quality? Because right now I'm only doing 1 heavily edited video a week, plus the live shows.
Yeah, we have the live shows. Well, plus there's a few ancillary things, like Patreon. We're going to have we have a Q&A for an hour on this coming Saturday morning, so I guess that's our pitch for Patreon this week. So
right?
If anybody's in the $5 patreon.com/dirtpatcheaven.
Yeah.
So
let's see. Sharon said that she's making butter, which, hooray for you, that's amazing. As soon as chamomile comes into milk, I'll probably get back into it.
She gives a lot.
She gives a lot. And then James said, how are our hogs doing? They're in the freezer.
Yeah. They weren't really hogs when we...
They were more like piglets when we put them in the freezer.
Yeah.
I just haven't made the video of doing that yet.
We had to shoot them just after getting them. So.
Which was unfortunate.
It was.
But it was, again, I had so much burnout. It was just before John got hurt, or just as you got hurt?
Just after. Because that was the chimney cleaning video where you were up there.
So John got hurt. We got our pigs. We were supposed to get lambs. Oh my gosh, it was such a horrible... I was so depressed when that happened, because we got our pigs. We really needed to get pigs. So we got the pigs, but they got out of the fence. I was just too tired to think through everything. And then we were supposed to go get bum lambs, which we do every year, and we had somebody that bought lambs from us and then starved them for 6 weeks and then tried to sell them to somebody else. And then they gave our name as the one who those lambs came from. Instead of the person who was starving them, they gave our name.
Well, and to throw more in there, it was also the government operation being irresponsible, because they had that story that it wasn't us, and then they still were mad at us for somehow.
Well, my name got mentioned.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to talk about who it was. Anyway, our supplier was the one that these people complained to. And so they put a black spot on us and said we couldn't get lambs anymore. So when I called, even though I was at the top of the list, when I called to get my lambs for the year, they said, we can't give you lambs anymore because you abused your animals. And so I was heartbroken.
I was like, wait, we have video evidence of what we're doing with these animals.
Well, but emotionally it was heartbreaking because I've been getting lambs from this particular supplier since I was 8. So I have almost 30 years of background with these people, and they didn't call me and say, hey, somebody said that you were starving these animals and we want to allow you to say something about it. Instead, when I called, they just said, we're not giving any sheep to you ever again because you abused your animals. And I ended up calling them back and saying, wait a minute, you didn't ever call me. You didn't give me a chance to say what was going on. And in the end, they said, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, I have videos of these lambs. I have videos of these lambs being exceptionally healthy. And you never made me sign something that said I wouldn't sell them. It was understood that a lot of people come in and fatten these lambs up and then sell them. It's common practice. And so I said, you didn't make me sign anything that said I wouldn't, so it doesn't seem right that you would tell me I can't get lambs from you. And in the end, I didn't get lambs from them. They said I could, but I was so heartbroken by the experience that I'm like, I don't want to go in there and have anybody have thought that I would starve these animals. And so emotionally I did. So we're about 500 pounds down for the year as far as meat goes. Our hogs escaped. We didn't get lambs. So we've been relying really, really heavily on rabbits. Our rabbits have done really well this year. Mm-hmm. Our muscovy ducks are hatching out babies like crazy. We have 16 so far for the last 3 months worth of hatching just from one broody duck, and we've got the geese that we're putting into the freezer a little bit at a time. So, but it's been discouraging. It's been really and my aunt died at the same time. Yeah. So it was really a horrible 6 weeks where he got hurt, the hogs died, and I still had to butcher them. The lambs didn't come, and people I'd known for 30 years, people I'd known for 30 years thought that I would abuse my sheep. And then my aunt died, and I was the one with her when she died, and it was a hard time.
It was a rough
I'm not sure spring. I bounced back from that.
Yeah, no, we're getting there. Okay, so everybody.
We did get it straight on the lambs. I called and talked to them, and I explained to them what had been going on, and they actually apologized. They apologized profusely and called me several times and just said, we're so sorry this happened. We do know who you are, and I'm so sorry we didn't call. But it was a bad time for it to happen. It was just a really bad time, and I couldn't really get over it.
It was one of those where we have to listen for a message from on high that, okay, what are you trying to tell us here?
And it was just that I needed to slow down. Yeah. But the less livestock I have, the less projects I have going, the less videos I can take. And so if I'm not bringing in new projects, it's hard for me to make new videos of things that I've done so many times before. And I did see somebody asked about ducks. So Carla asked to see more duck videos. And I'm trying to get a lot of those up. I've been mentioning them here and there in videos with little clips, but I do need to get, I really need to get a muscovy video up because they're just so amazing. I love them. They're so quiet. They hiss rather than quack, and the moms go broody, and they're better than any broody chicken ever could be. And they're big. I wish they were greasier, like a regular duck.
They're not terribly fatty.
Yeah, they're not real fatty, which we don't like because we like to use the grease for cooking in the winter. Will we get lambs next year? You know, what I'm kind of thinking of doing is going and buying a Romney sheep from our friends up in Cascade, because I really love Romney wool, and I'd rather not get them from where our original supplier now. I just rather not.
That just kind of burnt a bridge.
It really burnt a bridge. So I would probably go buy, I would really like to get a bum Romney lamb or another more of a fiber sheep.
We could go see Esther too. That would be a fun trip.
I would probably just buy it from them and have them bring it down with them when they come to the fiber fair.
Bring Esther?
No, okay. Jack and
right, I know.
Pat. How about more spinning videos? I would love to do more spinning videos. I worry that people have burnt out on it a little bit. I have my new spinning wheel. Because we sell them, I went and I've tried to get them, as we can afford them, to get the new wheels so I can showcase them, and I do have some videos up of that. But again, guys, I know this sounds really weird, but I feel like maybe you guys are getting tired of looking at my mug. You know, just getting tired of seeing me do the same thing all the time, and maybe it could be a little bit of my slight depression problem that's going on right now, that I feel like nobody wants to watch me.
Reed
but it's been a hard year.
Sorry, Reed to me says he's out. So thanks for stopping by, and come check out the rerun. We'll get the last half for you. So Grizz 270 says Cascadia. No, it's Cascade, Idaho, over north of Boise, right? Up in the mountains. Mm-hmm. Pretty area, beautiful area up there, and it's a little warmer than we are here. So
yeah, I do have a bug bite. Do I keep picking at it? Is it that obvious? Sorry. I have a mosquito in my greenhouse, and it got me really good. So you guys love the spinning wheels. I will try to get back into that, because I do a lot of it right now. My most recent spinning videos have been just showcasing the wheels that I just got, and it starts to feel a little bit like I'm pushing my spinning wheels rather than that I'm showing how to spin. So probably I think so much of my problem lately has been emotional. It has nothing to do with having stuff to talk about. It's just that I feel really...
Yeah, your audience is here begging. They're like, stuff, they just really want to see. So we appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Arnie Hancock says, what kind of water sources do we have? Well, we do have surface water, irrigation water.
We have canals. Because we're in the West... We have canals that are full of water, and then we divert them off in ditches, and then it's flood irrigation. And flood irrigation is the irrigation that works the best in our area, because we have very rocky soil. It's highly alkaline, and little bits of water just don't cut it in our area. Our
dirt is basically sand. It will just suck water like a sponge, and then still be dry.
Not necessarily. We've got a lot of clay in the front.
Okay, or it will be clay, and then it holds the water on the top, where it never seeps down
at all. Yeah, it never seeps down at all.
Either way.
And so we have half of our property we can't get that flood water to. And so what I've done is I have a ditch pump that's a garbage water pump that I have taken 2-inch hoses to every branch of trees that we have that's on a drip system that can handle the particulate matter that's in that water. And we have a very green property this year, because I finally got the watering system worked out. Everything is thriving. Everything is surviving. We have lots of weeds to go out and harvest for the rabbits. 3/4 of what our rabbits are eating right now is just weeds and thinnings out of the garden, which means that we've got like 30 rabbits right now, and we're buying 1 bag of feed a month. So it's awesome. Yeah, it's been really good.
Oh, Yankee's back. Okay. So, quick sidebar. He asked, so do I ever find a good carry gun that fits me well? Well, I found one that I'm comfortable with. I actually haven't had an uncomfortable carry sidearm. I'm 6 foot and not terribly round, I guess, build. And so I can conceal pretty much everything. Our first gun that we used as
what did they call the shirts? The Hugh Hefner shirts?
The Hugh Hefner
that are like 4 times too big for you?
Oh, I've got a whole collection. She hates them.
They're so
awesome.
ugly.
So between that, I can put an outside the waistband holster and a full-size handgun on my hip, and it will conceal very, very well. And so our first one was a Ruger P95, which is big gun. Second one, Glock 21, big gun. 1911, big gun. Just so. What I finally did settle on, long answer short, was the Glock 20. It's in 10mm auto, and it has a 15-round capacity. So in case that should cover me if I'm ever out in bear country, or if, heaven forbid, anything happened with 2-legged critters. So there we go.
And Adventures Aardvark asked if we can do homestead upgrades on a dime. And when we first started homesteading, and when we were first doing videos, everything that I did was on a dime. It was backwards, forwards, upside down, trying to find a way to do it without having to spend a lot of money. And what has ended up happening is that I have physically degraded to the point that it's very hard for me to go out and harvest things for free. It's very hard for me to be out in the heat. because I overdid it the first 4 years, the first 3.5 years. Last year I had to really cut back on what I could do during the day, and this year it's even more so. And so now the only thing that I do is I do it the right way the first time.
He was asking about your carry piece. So.
Oh, it's a PX4 Storm.
Subcompact.
And I love it. I've had it for 10 years.
Yep. It's in 99.
And I won't trade it out. I absolutely love it.
Well, not 10 years. Probably about 6.
Because Paige was a baby.
Right, but... yeah, it's been 5 or 6 years. That gun's only 6 years old.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I did. So that would have been... That was my first carry conceal gun, and it's the only one I've ever
sticks
wanted.
with it, and even though...
But back to the Homestead series.
Yes,
I know you're fixated on the guns.
Well, yeah. I was like, ooh, okay.
And mine is a 9mm.
Okay, Oscar Nation. 1 hour live stream with Mr. Hugh Heffershire brushing his hair in front of a mirror, talking to his guns. Yes, that could be done. We can do that easily. So I've been watching this for a while. You guys are hilarious, let me tell you.
So as far as doing things on a dime anymore, because I did it on a dime for so many years, I burned my body out, and now I have to actually be able to afford to hire somebody to do it for me, or have somebody like a WWOOFer come, and which is another reason why we're kind of thinking going to the RV thing, is that I don't know if my strength and my endurance will ever really go back to what it used to be. I don't know if that would ever happen. Maybe a couple years rest where I wasn't burning the candle at both ends would do it. But at this point, if I don't purchase it, it doesn't happen. So a lot of things just aren't happening. I just can't do it. There was another one that I missed. Can we go up a little bit?
Yeah, what are we looking for? Besides me talking about my guns.
Keep going up.
Swales above the...
Keep going.
This has got to make for awesome broadcasting experience for you guys, huh?
I don't see it.
You're all the way... Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, we lost comment. If you had a good question, ask it again.
You notice that I deflect away from the gun conversations. I like to shoot, but it's not my area of expertise. So maybe we should do like a once a week. John talks about guns.
You should see the ultralight AR-15 that she has built for her that she has never fired. So custom built.
Yeah, but he bought it without getting it for me.
Love. No. I bought the first part without getting it for you, and then I'm like, I need to get Julie something awesome.
Okay, anybody out there that is a gun widow, you know, those women that like are off doing their own lives while their men mutter to themselves with their guns in their gun room.
Does that make me a gardening widow? Widower?
No, because you're busy with your guns. You don't even notice I'm gone. And then I come in and bring food and put food on the table while you're sitting there muttering to your guns about how someday you're going to shoot something. Okay. Have we done a video on our smokehouse? We have. We did it when we first made the smokehouse. We did it out of recycled or reclaimed lumber off of our deck.
It's over on my channel, actually.
When looking for land, what would you say are the top 3 things a property should have? First, test your soil. Then check that you have water. And not only, you need water that's appropriate to your area. If you're in the West, you need to have an old water right for surface water. And
let's say laws. Zoning.
And zoning laws for your animals. But the third one would be...
that was the third one.
No, it's not the third one. Zoning, that one you kind of take for granted. You test your soil, you test your water, and when you make sure that you have that water right, make sure you have a way to get it to your property, because a lot of times those ditches aren't there anymore. But then also make sure to test you, and you have to do this when you buy a house anyway, but test your well, make sure it's not contaminated with anything.
See, I'm not the only one. Sharon Brown had her hubby do the same thing. What a good man. He's concerned about your safety and wants to get you a gift. So.
See, and we used to shoot together, and especially when the girls were really little. When Paige was a baby, we would take her to shooting competitions, and the one who wasn't shooting in the competition would hold her. We had earplugs plus the ear things.
We need to hold up, though, for a second, because they have been seeing some of the gun range videos where it is me and the girls. Where is Mom at this time?
Not shooting.
Not shooting. Not even at the range. She's gardening. We are gun orphans and widows.
Widowers. Well, the thing is, I don't like heat. And it stresses me out a little bit to be there with the girls on the range. And usually I just have too much work, especially since John got hurt. I work all day, every day. I'm not taking breaks to go and do other things, and so shooting is the last thing on my list as far as activities that I have time for. Can you admit that? Is that I am at home working when you leave?
Can I say hence the burnout?
Yeah, hence the burnout.
Hence the burnout. So, but let's see. So, Kitty's Homestead. Zoning laws are horrible. Minimum of 5 acres. Ooh, and that's a lot of land, too. But hopefully move to a bigger place. Well, 5 acres would be pretty big.
Yankee 4. I kicked my wife out of the bed when I got my first AR so it would have room. Okay, so he names his guns. If you guys have ever seen the video...
with the girls.
No, what's it called?
What?
The movie.
Oh,
Firefly.
Firefly.
Have you ever seen Firefly where he names his gun Vera and wants to trade it for a wife? Okay, my husband names his guns things, and he expects me to remember which gun has which name.
Go watch that movie. What one is it called? Like Mrs. Oh.
What is his last name?
Okay, so. Anyway, go find it. Firefly. There were only like 15 episodes, and that was the best space show ever. Okay. So,
actually, Aardvark, I would love to be doing more on Natural Happy. Right now, what I'm working with in my room is lighting. If you notice the last couple videos that I've done for Natural Happy, they have been really dark, and they've been from over my shoulder. I need to figure out a way to set up my camera so that I have the natural sun coming in and shining on my face. But... for right now, I can't figure out how to do it. It's like my brain has short-circuited.
See, Yankee 4 has names for all of his.
You need to be skilled at self-protection.
No, then Yankee 4. He names all his guns, too. See? Oh, and everybody loves Firefly. Hey, you guys are great. See, it's like we're with family. Only our families don't really like stuff like Firefly.
See, and we don't name our rabbits. The only animals that we name are the ones we're going to keep. The ones that are going to be breeding stock get names. Nothing else gets names, and that it just makes life a lot easier to do it that way. And I work really, really hard at being emotionally unattached to the animals, except for their well-being. I stress really hard about them not suffering, about them having enough to eat and enough to drink and being happy in their short lives with us. Mm-hmm. But I do find that I have an emotional disconnect with them that I'm not necessarily always happy about that. I'm not sure it's not, but we butcher a lot of animals, and if I cried over every single one of them, I'd never stop crying. Hence, again, maybe that's why I'm sad right now. I've been butchering too many animals.
Okay, Ava says, yeah, right. his name was Nathan Fillion.
But what's the name?
What was his? He was Captain something.
Captain
something on his boat. So, yeah, Vera was the name of the gun. Good job, Brian. Let's see.
Would love to see a series on single women homesteading alone. What is really feasible skills and what's not, perhaps with other guest single homesteaders. I think that would be really, really interesting. And again, it's one of the reasons we want to do the RV. What we desperately want to do is come out and see you guys and see what other channels are doing, what other homesteaders are doing. Just because we're burnt out on our own a little bit doesn't mean we want to be done with homesteading. It means that we really want to come see our people. We want to come see what amazing things other people are doing. Mm. And so if you guys have thoughts on that, we have probably about 5 different homesteading channels that we really want to go visit and drive to go see. And we're trying to find a way to do a route so that we can stop at other smaller channels that we don't know as well yet and visit you guys and take a video of your homestead and talk about your channel and do a little interview and stay with people for 3 or 4 days in between each of the stops. Because there is a limit to how much interaction we can do through these live broadcasts and through like the Braid Girl stuff, and we feel really strongly about it, and we're trying to figure out how to do it without letting the property die. Right. You know and one way we're thinking is to get a horse trailer to put behind the RV so that we could take our goats with us. Because we're not willing to sell the goats. They're really exceptional animals, and we love them.
And it took us 10 years to get to this point with them. We don't want to waste another decade. So we're still on Firefly. So yes, his name was Mal. What was the last name, though? So, okay, let's see. Oh, hey, JM Jim, is that an invite? That would be awesome. We'd love to come.
See, and that's really what we want to do. Is Deep South Homestead is the top one on the list, but they're like the furthest one away.
Right.
We want to go see Deep South Homestead, Brad and Krista from Big Family Homestead. We want to go see Esther from Fushamatic. We want to go see Corinne from The Fresh Princess, and we want to go see Trish. Yes. Just so Trish.
She's all the way down in Florida. So it would be a fun cross-country.
Yeah, and so those are the big channels we can think of, and it would be a cross-country. And we want to know if people would be willing to have us come and have us talk about their channel and stay with them for 3 days and make a good video series of their homestead to showcase your channel. Mm-hmm. And it would give us a chance to let the goats get out and stretch their legs. It would give us a break from the homestead.
Yeah, and it would be something different where we wouldn't feel depression or burnout.
Yeah, we'd be stuck in a little tin can together.
And if we didn't kill each other by the time we got to Florida, the channel would just explode.
Right, Grandpa? Yeah, we want to see everybody, like Big Bear Homestead.
Sorry, guys.
And everything. With Wrangler Star, we had talked about going up and seeing them last summer, and they were good with the idea, but they were so stinking busy that it was hard to orchestrate the time that we would be there and the time that they could have us be there. Yeah. And so we did have a conversation with them about it, but and it was if you remember, it was the summer with all the fires in Oregon and Washington, fires. And so he's a firefighter. He wouldn't have known if he would be there. We were planning on going up to see my sister and her family up in Washington, and just dropping by and seeing Wrangler Store on the way, and there was just, the smoke was so bad, and it was not a good time to be there.
So
in South Carolina,
final Yankee. Firefly mention, it was the new Mrs. Reynolds.
That's right. That's what it was. It was a good
Captain
one.
Malcolm Reynolds.
And Go for Green Living. See, there's so many people out there that we want to go see.
Yankee 4 says we're welcome.
I mean,
we would love to see all of you guys.
We would love to see everybody. And all we need to do is we need to get a map and pinpoint where everybody is on that map, so that we have a continuous circle, so that we know where everybody is, and we know how long we'd be, and we could give people dates for when we'd be at their place. In fact, if we did it in the fall, if we did it in September, when we no longer have trees to be watering, which is our big problem now, is we couldn't leave because everything would die, we could be back by January or February, or even be back March. We could stay with Trish in January and February and come back in March.
We'd be snowbirds. We would skip right to retirement. That would be awesome. So. Let's see. Well, thank you, Rosie. That is very encouraging. Thank you. She says it's very encouraging.
I think that's a great idea, Helios. I totally think Mr. Dirt should have a cooking show. He's a really, really much more adventurous with his cooking of our sometimes wild game.
Saying what? Meaning what?
What?
Comes out a little too...
No, you're really good at it, and I'm not adventurous at all. Yes, and Justin Rhodes is going to get an RV. They sold their cows this week. I did see that. So hopefully it doesn't seem like a duplicate of what they're doing. Yeah, we've been talking about this for the last 4 months, and ever
since the video came out that, hey, we might go to an RV.
And ever since he got hurt, we've been thinking, how can we cut back on expenses? Is there a way for us to do this that would allow somebody to live in our house and rent our house to pay our mortgage, so that we wouldn't have so many bills? And the only thing is, I don't want to sell my goats. I'm not willing to sell my goats. I'm not willing to sell my rabbits. All of our animals are so specialized and are so good at what they do. I'm not willing to sell them in order to be able to do this. Hence the reason why we're asking, can we stay for a few days to let our animals rest their legs?
I just had another awesome idea. Would any of our awesome audience members that have been with us for a while be looking for a home to rent? So, just a thought.
Yeah. Our house is great. The only thing we're worried about is having renters here, and we depend on wood fire, and on wood heat, which is amazing, and we love it. But we're a little bit worried about having somebody come in and use wood heat in our beautiful home, and not really knowing how to clean the chimney. So.
Right. Off-Grid Nation, the shirtless cooking show. You guys are just going to town on this feed today. It's hilarious.
We, JX, we wanted to get a solar oven when we first moved here. We thought it was an amazing idea. And right now our finances have not been such that we've been able to buy one. But we've watched over at Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. And their solar oven that they just got is amazing. And yes, I would love to have something like that, but it's just not in the budget right now.
Debbie Williams says we're welcome to stay at her place. Thank you. 114 acres and we could target practice. We're there. We are going to make a stop for sure. So,
a shirtless cooking show.
Yeah, Tommy's just thinks he's funny.
Well, as long as he's the one cooking. I think it would be awkward if I was the one cooking. It's me
brushing my hair and talking to my guns and cooking, apparently.
The All-American Sun Oven. Roy and Faye. So is that the one that Doug and Stacy have? I don't remember. I know that one looked awesome because it had dehydrating trays in it too. Whereas here, we are in southeast Idaho. We won't tell you any closer than that.
But it's in the desert, high valley.
Yeah.
We don't get any snow, but we get lots of cold, and we get lots of wind. And not really any rain.
Yeah, that's true. Lady Genevieve, it's okay for us to copy each other, Justin Rhodes and us, as long as we don't intend to visit each other while we're both
copying each other.
Yeah, depression does suck. And I don't know if I should even call it depression so much as just sadness. Just too many things happened all at once, and sometimes you get down into that mire and you stop loving something for a while because so much bad juju happened. It makes you kind of afraid of the activity a little bit, and like you don't want to put any more of yourself into it.
Right. See, Doc Kozlowski says he's
that's a good idea, Jay.
Yeah. Doc Kozlowski says he's got trouble getting insurance due to his wood burner. Yeah, we lucked out really well. We just basically went to Allstate, but our agent is really great. She just, okay, how many wood burners you got? Well, we have 2. And okay, here you go. And it was like $6 extra a month.
Yeah,
so
it was amazing.
It was a good time.
So that's kind of, I forgot that I had a list of things that we were covering.
Yeah, we kind of got on the feed.
And lately, I have loved the Homesteading Network guys lately. Who was it I was watching the other night? I was watching Big Bear Homestead and Go for Green Living. And they're on Friday and Saturday. And I adore it. Sometimes when I'm coming down and I'm spinning, I need something just to keep me entertained, to keep my mind focused while I'm doing my other work. And I have found that I have so enjoyed, I don't necessarily always type because I'm spinning, but just to hear how everybody else's day or week went has been so nice. And it isn't just drivel. It isn't just some stupid, sorry about your face, I'm not trying to cover it.
Good.
Some stupid entertaining garbage. Instead, I feel like I'm checking in on friends, which is so nice. So make sure to check out Tommy. He's the Off Grid Nation. Used to be Carolina Prepper, right? I get so confused.
Tommy chime in, but it's
Tommy. He was here. It is Off Grid Nation.
He's got 4 minutes to put together.
Well, but I'm just saying, please go check him out.
Okay, he's probably setting up now.
And he likes to talk about finances and lots of patriotic type topics about being a prepper and just common sense type stuff with government and that kind of thing that's going on.
Carla Grieser says we may just need a break. Yes, and that is kind of what we're thinking is, okay, if we have to do this, it's probably just to take a breather and then we can come back to what we love doing.
But the hard thing is, in homesteading, you can't take a breather. If you want milk in 6 months, you have to have bread so that in 6 months and so we've cut down to all the things that are high maintenance, but it's still a point of like we don't have a fence for our goats because we can't get fence posts into our ground, and so the girls have to take water out to the goats every 2 hours. I have to remind them every 2 hours to do that. We've got weeds that have to be cut for the rabbits if we don't want to be spending money on pellets, and that's time consuming, and I can't trust the girls to do it. And so right now it's just I have to have my finger in every pie. And also get my work done for the Etsy store and get my YouTubing stuff done. And so if we want to be eating out of our own freezer, I have to keep going and I have to just keep figuring out how to do it. But the YouTube channel has really suffered from it because I'm so tired. I can't push myself to have that camera out with me.
It happens. So.
Constantly it happens lately. I just haven't been taking the videos. So.
Anyway, it's okay. It was
I know,
a wonderful
right?
blessing and good Sunday and a good week, and we will.
So how have you handled it, Kitty?
Down. I'm sorry.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
No, both of us. Anyway. Now they're talking about how much better YouTube is than TV nowadays. Isn't it true, though? And it's it's free. You don't have to pay for it like cable. I guess you have your internet, but let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just reading them all. Could you guys get another woofer? Well, we have our woofer now. Daniel's here until the 27th. We have 2 more woofers coming on the 22nd. The problem is I don't necessarily have to entertain them, but I do have to educate them on what it is I need them to do. Bad things have happened when I haven't explained myself well enough, and we've ended up having swales weeded within an inch of their lives. And other things that just, I have to be there to clarify what needs to be done. And if I'm out there clarifying that kind of thing, I'm not in the house getting girls with their chores done, I'm not getting meals put on, and I'm not getting my own chores done. And so they're doing the big grunt work that I can't do because they're just physically able, which is amazing and so important. But it does mean that I just have one more thing, one more pie that I have to get my finger into. And on top of that, I have to make sure I have all the raw supplies that they need to be able to do the work they need to do. So it's a little bit expensive on top of that. It's just, I think my brain is just turning into mush. I'm the stress of it. I can't really describe it, and trying to figure out how to keep it all done and keep obligations, and it's important because our property is getting so much better all the time, but my capacity to deal with it emotionally is getting smaller and smaller. Nebraska, that would be fun for deer season.
You have to refer to who you're talking about because they're seeing this.
I'm sorry, Simply Circus said that we should stop by to Nebraska. I love Nebraska. I think it's beautiful.
From September 1 to June 18, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Well, and Carla, as far as like, I would love to be able to step back and take a break. If I was to butcher all of our rabbits and not have any more meat rabbits, just have the mamas and not breed them anymore, and if I was to stop milking the goats and let everybody dry up, it would take a lot of that strain down. But you have a 6-month starting back up period, which makes things tricky.
It's 7 o'clock, so. Okay, guys. Sorry to bring the feet down.
We didn't bring the feet down. How is this bringing the feet down?
This is true. So, thanks for watching. Tommy is over at Deep South Homestead. And
no, Tommy's not over at Deep South Homestead.
What's he doing? No, I'm sorry. That's, yeah. Off Grid Nation. There we go. So go check Tommy out. He has an awesome show every week, and we really appreciate you guys watching, and we will see you again next week. Maybe. How do I turn this on?